In a world filled with conflict, in a universe comprised of differences, there's one thing that absolutely everything shares in common. We all exist. Including two guys named Jack and Michael, who like to chat about that very thing over a good cup of coffee. Let's pay them a visit, shall we?
Existence Brewing.
I beat him here. Oh, there he is.
They need the death metal version of this.
It kind of sounds like a yacht rock song, doesn't it?
I like yacht rock.
I do too. I knew there was a reason why we were friends.
I haven't bought the tickets yet, but big news from Jack, because he's not a concert goer, loves music, has his whole life, but has never been big into the concert thing. You know, too many people all drinking, and you know, it gets out of hand quickly for me. It becomes less about the music and more about what it always does, which is just whatever foolishness is going on at the time. But happened to see this, and Maddie's grabbed the hotel room already. I got to get the tickets, but Men at Work, Christopher Cross, and Toto.
No.
I'll be going to see them soon. Yes. Joseph Williams, one of my favorite vocalists of all time, with Toto. So that's the big draw for me. I love Christopher Cross too. Men at Work, not as much. I mean, I respect them. That's great. But they'll be like kind of the also-rans of the bunch for me. But
that
Cross
is so
and then
cool.
Toto. Yeah, I know.
Where are they playing?
So I've been listening to them at the gym, because I'm kind of going back through, because I'm a compilation guy. My whole life I've been a mixed bag person.
Yeah.
I make these mixtapes to start with, and then mix CDs, and no, I don't do Spotify, because half the music that I own isn't on Spotify. Everything's on Spotify. No, it's not the things that I have. So I don't do that. So I don't have this shuffle feature and all this fancy stuff. So I have to listen to it off YouTube. So I'm looking for bands that are so good that I can tolerate the whole album from start to finish and just don't want to hear one or two songs and have to gut out the rest. Like 50% of, the music that I've ever run across is like. So Toto's one of them, because I have everything they've ever done. And
yeah,
I mean, any record is fine. So in punching those up while I was at the gym, I happened to notice, they're always promoting shit. It's constant. And so underneath one of the videos, it was just like, yeah, they're playing. And I saw Puyallup, Washington, and that's close to where we are. And I was just like, at the fair, no doubt. Now, yeah, they're playing the Washington State Fair.
No
so I go over and I'm
way.
like, oh, this is great. Perfect. Absolutely 100% gonzo, sold out. None. Couldn't get two seats together to save my life. And I'm not going by myself. They had like 10 tickets left, and they were all singles in that whole place. So I thought, well, shit, there goes that. And so I thought, no, maybe they're playing like Portland, Oregon or something close enough, let's look. And sure enough, they will. They play like Vancouver, Washington the next night. And so that one is looking fine for tickets. So that's where we'll go.
Oh, that is so cool.
They're launching their tour like next week. Like it kicks off in Florida, I think. And then they're going to be out for quite a few months on the road in the States. So good for them. They're a great, great, great band. I've always really liked them.
Yeah, and I would say one more thing on that is that it's very cross generational or multi-generational music now, because I feel like the 80s has kind of made a resurgence. You obviously lived.
Well, it's real music.
Yeah, but it's making a resurgence now with the millennials, and that's great that you guys are going to go see that. That is an awesome show.
Yeah, the only thing I wonder about is, will I be able to survive the breakfast bar at the hotel if we actually go down there? Because generally speaking, we like to eat in like good restaurants. It's part of traveling is eating, like you wouldn't ordinarily. So these people that go to these hotels and like, oh my gosh, we get breakfast for free. Isn't that wonderful? It's like, yeah, but it's shit. Like 9/10 of the time. There's, some of the places you go that have breakfast is like, it's strangely good, but a lot of it's just garbage. I'm not eating that stuff. But very often, we get up in the morning in the hotel, and then Maddie's got to get ready, and that process takes longer than it does for me. And so I wind up wandering down to the breakfast thing. She wants a cup of coffee if the in-room isn't suitable, or, bring me a muffin or, whatever they have, tide me over until we actually get out of here and can go eat like restaurant food. All right. But man, I mean, we just were on the road a couple times here in the last few weeks. And the last place that I did that at, which was a Hampton Inn, just not to plug the chain, but just to say maybe it's a Hampton thing. But I think it's everywhere because I've experienced this other places. It's like a microcosm for how bad it's getting out there. It's like a military exercise. People, like, you watch people, and the guy is like with his children, and it's this insane, like, monkey pack mentality thing at the waffle bar. He like cordons off. He's like, it's like he pisses a ring around him and his kids, and nobody gets within 30 feet of the waffle bar because he's there. And until he's done, that's it. And then people are just rude. And I really I felt bad. Like I was having a decent enough morning, and then I went down to the breakfast buffet thing, or whatever they call it, the free continental at the Hampton. And I went back to my room just feeling terrible about humanity, because it was like everybody there was so rude, and so every person and every person's children, especially for themselves. I mean, they acted like that was going to be the last food that they ever saw on the face of the earth. And clearly they were putting food out all morning. And that got me to thinking about how we just take that for granted too. It's just, here comes more food. They're putting out more food. But God, those guys at the waffle bar, especially, just, giving you the big, the stance, the Tasmanian devil, that stance.
Don't tread on me.
Yeah, like standing there just like, don't even fucking think about coming over here. I'll kick your ass. I'm at the waffle bar with my kids. That's right, I made these kids with my own penis, my own semen, that I make my own body. Yeah, I found a woman, had several kids with her, and now we're at the waffle bars. They grow up with their father, teaching them the right way, how to do things American style. You ever fucking come within 5 inches of my fucking kids, I'll beat your ass. There'll be no waffles left, that's for damn sure. We're taking them all. Just like, Jesus Christ, dude, give me a fucking break. I mean, I'm looking for a cup of coffee, and I'm just scouting around here. Oh, it was like like I said, it was like a militarized zone that they'd thrown up down there. Just like, where's the bivouac? Go have a nap. So anyway,
that's funny. Well, it kind of reminds me.
Funny. It's funny on the afterthought, but at the time, it sucked.
It kind of reminds me of it. Like, I also feel like when you go to those motel bar kind of, they're not real restaurants, right? They're just kind of like the front desk has to go and like put together some kind of a spread so that they can say in their brochure that they offer a continental breakfast, right? And there's like, a few different items to choose from, and for the most part, yeah, they do a good job. But then I also feel like you get those guys going in there like Joey Chestnut, and he's getting ready to like throw down at the hot dog eating competition. Like he's going to take full advantage of the continental breakfast.
In my experience with the continental breakfast, or free breakfast, or whatever you want to call it, it's really designed for people who are of the most parsimonious sort possible in our world. Penny pinching fucking miser types that want to they think they're getting something for free with the $189 plus tax hotel room. And it's like, but what you're getting isn't of any substantial quality at all. In fact, like I said, some are better than others. This one, honestly, They had chicken sausage. Now the patties were literally, a 16th of an inch thin, but 3 cheers. They actually had an alternative sausage. It wasn't this greasy, nasty stuff that you see. And the eggs were real. They weren't these powdered ones. And that's a big solution. So I'm not going to bash the whole thing, I suppose, the whole affair. But to me, just like I said, traveling, one of the things that's fun about traveling is you get to eat out, because we do not eat out very often at all, aside from that, in the town that we live in. A, there's not that many good restaurants, and B, it's expensive as hell. And so we reserve it for when we're on the road, and we like to look up places. And so recently we found a few good ones. Recently we found a couple that were really hyped that weren't so good, but that happens. It's no big deal. But I kind of feel like the breakfast bar thing, because I have a friend who I used to travel with, and do they have a free breakfast? Do you have a free breakfast? Oh, look, they got a free breakfast. Look at this. Oh, yeah, we're going to eat for free. This is awesome. It's like, I really don't want to eat that shit. I want to go out. Oh, yeah, but I mean, I'm not going to pay for breakfast somewhere when they've got food at the hotels. It's like, yeah, but define food. Like, it's not what I want to eat. I'm being forced to choose from whatever they shove out in mass. And it's garbage. It's all like these muffins came from, these are food service muffins. Just go walk down the line. So I don't know, the breakfast buffet thing. It's to me, it's overrated. It's no big deal. But like I said, it's worthy of something to tide you over quickly, or a cup of coffee in the morning. Now, as far as Joey Chestnut's concerned, using it, I think there's probably a Joey Chestnut clause at every major hotel chain in the world.
They would be smart to include one.
They literally have his social security number attached to it, and they can't but it literally says, if your name is Joey Chestnut and you have won the Nathan's hot dog eating contest this many times, they have his whole bio, you are ineligible for the free buffet at the hotel.
Oh, man.
We don't want to have you stay and then lose our profit margin on food for the entire month.
Can you imagine?
By having you stay there.
70 and a half biscuits and gravies.
70 and a half. I love it.
I think that's going to be your new name. So when the barista asks you at Existence, can we get a good name? Just say Joey Chestnut.
Joey Chestnut. Yeah. Did they do the Nathan's hot dog thing already?
They did. Yeah.
Did he win again?
He did by a handsome margin.
Yeah. I've always been impressed with the bun thing, because to me, like, isn't it still a hot dog without the bun? Because they dip the bun. They soak the bun, you'll notice, as they go.
Oh, there's strategy to it.
Oh, I mean, someone has sat down and tabled every strategy imaginable for how many nitrate-filled wieners can I stuff into my gullet within 5 minutes, or however they do this thing. I find it fascinating. Eating contests in general are just so perfectly American. I don't think the eating contest existed before the United States did.
No.
Couldn't have.
No,
because food was too scarce to waste in this capacity prior to, it's yet another one of those things that I laugh at out loud, but inside I'm just crying, because I'm thinking to myself, does the man really need 68 hot dogs in 3 minutes?
I know.
I mean, I personally don't want to give hot dogs to the world's hungry. I think that's almost like a counterintuitive measure, but it would at least sate them for a while. I'm sure they would eat it. So couldn't we share some of these?
Well, and I wonder if ESPN has banned all of the advertising agencies from running the Children of the World PSAs during that time frame, where it's like
undoubtedly
Nathan's world famous hot dogs, hot dog eating contest winner Joey Chestnut. Oh, and now these words from our Save the Children.
Well, speaking of ESPN and their role in all of this, first of all, why? I guess it's the entertainment and sports network. We have to remember, entertainment has always come first before sports, and that's kind of your first hint that sports are entertainment, nothing more. They're just bullshit, and that's why they're all rigged, because there's so much money involved. But I guess the entertainment value is the allure for them. The problem is, I don't, it's called competitive eating. And I don't see any other wings of competitive eating except those that are based on sheer quantity of consumption. I would like to see different branches. Maybe there are. I'm checked out from that world of competitive eating, but I think the world of competitive eating needs to be vastly opened up. Like, who can cut, here's a 92-ounce steak. It's not about who can eat it the fastest. It's about who can actually cut it with a dull steak knife into Jenga blocks and stack them up. We
Kind of
gotta
like
get
a
creative
lumberjack
with this.
competition.
Yeah, more things to be competitive with about food. And then, of course, once the blocks are stacked, then it's all about consuming them. Or maybe it's about consuming them in a certain way. It's not how much you consume, it's how you do it, kind of thing. I don't know.
Like underwater hot dog eating competition?
That's fine. So, yeah, exactly. Like subaquatic hot dog eating, the bun's pre-soaked that way.
We're giving ESPN way too many ideas now.
It's got to be more than just, how much can I eat in 3 minutes? Because we've all seen that trick and done that trick.
Major League Eating, it is a thing.
Also, do you remember the restaurant Skippers? I think they're still out there.
Oh,
Skippers. Yeah. So there was one in the town that we live in when I was growing up, and we liked Skippers. I especially liked their chowder because the potatoes were cubed, and I love cubed food. Has always been just fascinating to me. So, like, the potatoes were cubed, and I just loved it, and it was tasty. And they had decent fish and shrimp and other stuff too. So it was good, for being all fried and shoveled out in baskets that got greasy within 6 seconds. It was pretty good. They used to do an all you could eat there. Shrimp, fish, whatever it was. So
I knew it well.
Never seen an all you can eat that was more stingy in my entire life. They had more strategies to try to cut you off from eating. It was ridiculous. I remember we literally complained one time. I went in there with my brother and I want to say a couple of his friends. We all got the all you can eat. And it was probably supposed to be one of those sit downs where it's like, yeah, I'm going to eat you under the table. It's like, yeah, no, I'm going to have a lot more fillets than you are. Or just, start counting the shrimp like they're lemmings, falling over the edge of whatever. Couldn't even get there. They serve you the first course, which is a regular size basket where you get the seafood and the fries. And then here comes the trickery. You have to go back up to ask for more.
Yeah.
And suddenly there's no fish or fries. It's just like, can I get some more fish and fries? I paid for the all you can eat. Yeah, we'll put some more on for you. Well, what, you don't have any fries or fish ready? I see other people in here eating. That's all you serve. Where's the fish and fries? Well, we have to make it. What do you mean you have to make it? We have to make some more. And then, 14 minutes later, you get one filet and like 9 French fries. Like, here you go. They bring it out to you. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
They're using the time factor.
It was so ridiculous. And we complained, and we had every right to complain. It was just like, listen, just don't offer an all you can eat, because an all you can eat is exactly what it says. It's all you can eat. And, within a reasonable amount of time. We're not going to stay here for 5 hours to get an all you can eat course. We're going to and I would never order anything all you can eat now. That's just so against my ways. But, as a younger guy and had the metabolism of a flea, so I could eat whatever I wanted. And, I could put down food. Ribs were always my big thing. We'd go to Tony Roma's, and I could always, for whatever reason, eat more ribs than the other guys. But I would never do that now.
I'm that way with chicken wings. I can eat so many chicken wings. It's insane.
Wings. Yeah. See, we all have our thing that we can just down. But I wouldn't do that now. It's wrong for so many reasons. But you should eat until you're full and no more.
That's right.
And be happy that you're eating until you're full.
Be a responsible eater.
Do you find it ironic, too, that the man who is consistently been the winner of the all-you-can-eat hot dog contest, the premier all-you-can-eat hot dog contest in the world for the last 2 decades or whatever it is now, is named after a nut that is associated with Christmas time.
He has a great name for his fame, doesn't he?
I think we need the chestnut eating contest that features like Joey Sausage or Joey, Joey Wiener or, whatever. I mean, because...
Well, and when you look at him too, I mean, the way he is dressed, and obviously there's kind of like a uniform that Nathan's doesn't just, have him parade out there wearing his normal Joey Chestnut apparel. They give him basketball shorts and some kind of a jersey to make him look more like an athlete. But the man clearly doesn't look like a professional athlete. He's built differently. Of course, the anatomy of a competitive eater has to be a little different than, like one of a NFL football phenom or, let's just say there's a different probably gym regimen that Joey Chestnut takes versus a Cam Chancellor. But this picture is just precious of him standing there with his medal and how they've made him look more like an athlete.
And I don't know whether he's won so many times because he's just that amazing at eating hot dogs.
He is.
Or is the world finally running out of people that are that interested in doing this? And I certainly would hope that it's the latter. Of course, you know me, but sadly, I'm guessing they're lining up to take this guy on still.
Yeah, I think like the next person down was like they only made like 33 hot dogs down. And
he ate how many?
70 and a half. So, I mean, he's kind of like the Tiger Woods of competitive eating.
I wonder how much he makes.
It's a good question.
I probably wouldn't. You know what? Listen to me. I hate, when you go to Google, look up something and the first thing is net worth.
Let's ask Michelle. Let's ask Michelle instead.
I truly am curious to know. He's got to be worth several million with those endorsements and stuff. So
the latest estimates of Joey Chestnut's net worth range between $3.5 million and $4 million, depending on the source. Yeah, Celebrity Net Worth pegs it at $3.5 million, noting his annual earnings hover around $500,000 from contests and sponsorships.
Thanks, Michelle.
So just to be clear, just based on the limited amount of information we just received from Michelle, all the man does is eat hot dogs.
Yeah,
and only a few times a year at that. So he only sits down and does this trick where he ramrods all these hot dogs into his mouth. What do you suppose? Half dozen, 10 times a year tops?
Oh, I would say probably more than that. I would say that the Nathan's competition is probably the Super Bowl. That's where he gets most of his notoriety. But
Can't be more than one a month, though.
Oh, I would imagine he's probably doing at least 2 a month.
All right, that's still 24 working days a year. We're at $500,000. God bless America.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was telling my wife while we were watching it, I'm sure there's some very questionable establishments that he does promotional appearances at throughout the year. I'm thinking probably there's probably a few strip clubs in Alabama where Joey Chestnut makes an appearance.
And I hate to be cliche, but we know it's sitting there. The gay porn industry has to be chasing this man down like you wouldn't imagine. They've probably been on his tail for 25 years.
Chestnut.
Joey, we know you can shove a lot of wieners into your mouth. Now it's time to really show them what you can do. I mean, if you think $500,000, like we have billions in the porn industry coffers waiting for you to get a piece of. If you'll just, because here's the thing, eating 63 hot dogs is one thing, but I mean, a 63 person bukkake, that's another,
Oh, you heard it first here, kids.
Well, everybody's thinking it. So, or am I the only one? No, it has to be others out there. So,
no, Michelle thought it. Everyone thought it.
I'm glad to know Mr. Chestnut is still on top of the hot dog universe. That's good.
Speaking of which, I was going to ask you, do you want to transition into one other thing?
No, I was just looking at my notes. Go ahead. You sound like you were.
Supposedly now there's no Epstein client list, and now we're supposed to just forget that was ever, a thing in our social world. What's your take on the Epstein list or not so Epstein list?
I don't honestly know very much about that, to be honest with you, but I'm imagining, isn't that a product of our current president? Isn't he going around and because wasn't he supposed to be on said list?
Well, that's what Elon Musk alluded to in his posts on X after he and the president had a falling out. But then I also remember there was a time when Donald Trump was using it as kind of like a carrot in the election cycle, when he was saying that he was going to get to the bottom of said list. So I don't know that it was ever really proven that there was a list, other than people were just saying that there was a list somewhere and that they wanted to get to the bottom of it. It's funny how when we start having these conversations of importance, national security takes over and crashes the internet.
The second that Jeffrey Epstein gets mentioned, boom, we're seized upon. So.
Yeah, right?
Well, like I said, I don't know all the twists and turns of the story, and it's a predictable soapbox from me. Let's just say it's all true for the sake of, not knowing entirely what happened or who was there or who wasn't. But let's just say everybody who has been, purported to have gone to Epstein Island and been part of the Pizzagate thing to have sex with 13-year-old girls that are manipulated and, coaxed into this whole thing or whatever. What's the one thing they all have in common?
Money.
There you go. They're all super, super, super wealthy. And once again, I just have to point out, if there's an enemy that we have right now, that's it. I mean, avarice and greed produces a really bad state because I think what it does, quite honestly, is it's already so steeped up. If you want to get theological about it in some ways, if you want to get into the sin business and start, treading in those waters, and then maybe break it down into more of a psychology almost, or, the psychological elements behind wealth, you're already bathing in something that's completely immersive from a material perspective. I mean, you're already just completely given over to the game that we're all born into, where everything is leveraged and you've got to get ahead in life, or you certainly got to give head if you want to get some places too. Right, Joey?
Not a reference not a reference to Joey Chestnut.
No puns intended for Joey's on his. Sorry, didn't mean to make him the buns of that joke. So we all get born into the game. We all know that, again, you have to do what you have to do in order to survive. And then here come all the material possessions that you want. And so the wealthy have more than a leg up on everybody else. And then that becomes the leg that you've got to keep standing on your whole life, because it's never enough. So you're already, immersed in this world where you're kind of better than everybody else, right? I mean, plutocracy is real. It happens every day. I watch it every day just in the town that I live in, where we don't even have people that are that wealthy, but the wealthiest people in town definitely feel like they're a little bit better, if not a lot better than everybody else, because they drive a more expensive car, live in a more expensive house, on we go. It's that whole game. And that's how we've decided to judge each other. That's how we learn to determine the pecking order in the world, to say, well, I may be, 5'3" and, weigh 118 pounds and have rickets and be a horrible human being who, lies and cheats and steals, but I have money, and so I'm better than everybody. And that's the problem, is that we're dismissing all of those other things, not the physical characteristics. I threw those in just because they also matter. And I'm just trying to illustrate how we also tend to overlook even that. I
but
mean,
you're talking more to the morality of the the circumstance.
Even in a shallow, vain world where we have people saying, and women are a lot more graceful with that than men are. But even in a world where we have, women saying, oh God, how in the world can you go out with him? He's so short and he's just stocky and he's losing his hair. And it's just like, okay, yeah, but the man makes $78 million a year. It's like, I'm in. I'm so there, sister. I mean,
Who sent you?
If you ever break up with him, you let me know.
So anyway, you're giving them all the secrets, Jack.
I think, again, if you're already immersed in all of that, like I've often said about Elon Musk, I think being the prime example, since he's the richest, he is the gold standard for gold standards right now.
So gravitas can be difficult sometimes.
Thank you. I think these people, men especially, because where's the wealthiest woman in the world on that list? Like 30th, probably at the highest, 40th.
You bring up an interesting point. I don't know that there ever has really been.
Well, see, then there's another thing we could point out. It's all about wealth and it's all about being male, having a penis. So it's interesting how those two things tend to run concurrent to each other with all these scandalous things we talk about. But bored is the word I'm getting at here, that I'm driving at. I think that when you have everything that whole realm can possibly achieve, yachts that require the deconstruction of an entire piece of infrastructure in a foreign country to build your yacht. And I know that didn't happen, but it was going to happen before Lex Luthor moved his yacht building thing somewhere else, because the Dutch came to their senses and says, oh, no, we can't take a whole bridge down as much as we like your money, because they can't disrupt 100,000 people going across the bridge every day or whatever it is, just so that he can build a boat. I mean, so I really do think that when you get to that point where money is literally not an object any longer, you can have anything. You can buy entire countries if you so chose to do. Then you get into a position of you lose your mind. I think you really do kind of slip into a different sense of what reality is and what it means, because it warps your perception of why we're here. Being rich is already going to do that. It's already going to put a bubble in the mirror. But now you're shattering it into a trillion tiny little rivets when you talk about having that much wealth.
So Forbes.com actually monitors this, and it's sick because they almost do this in a real-time fashion. And I mean, you got to check this out.
Well, that's not surprising.
I mean, you got to check this out. So they have a list of the wealthiest people in the world. It is a really kind of interesting rundown because it ranks them, but then it also tells you what their bio is and like what sector they made their money in. But then it also has like a daily change. And
they just Warren Buffett just spent $3.50 on a short latte and somewhere in Vermont. Oh, it came off the top of his net.
So to answer your question, Alice Walton, who is the heir of the Sam Walton fortune, Walmart money, of course, Walmart money. But sure. She's worth $104 billion. And it's interesting because
she let's just to throw it out there.
Yeah.
She is in her own way priceless, as are all human beings, because we're unique and precious and we exist in a way that's far transcendent of money. So when you say she's worth $104 billion, we're talking about it in the sense of this game. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
So where is she at?
Yeah,
in this
correct.
list?
It's all a game. It's all a game. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I thought you were on the same level as me, but no.
I get it.
18th is what she's ranked. But 18th, and she's the first. That's the first female on the list. But then it's interesting because all of the top 4 people are all in the tech industry, and when you look at and these are all billionaires. There's no millionaires on this list. I mean, these are all billionaires.
Sure.
And so when you look at the top, say 4, they're all from the tech industry. But the difference between 1 and 2 is double. So Elon Musk is worth double what number 2 is worth, Larry Ellison. And so you go from 274.9 billion at number 2 to 404.2 billion at number 1. I thought that was interesting.
So, not that I care, honestly, at the end of the day, but let me ask you this about other females in the top 25, 50, 100. And again, this is in the spirit of the game and only in looking at the game in an ancillary way, in an outside perspective. What'd you say the 18th was? What's her name?
Alice Walton.
Okay, so Alice Walton, very nice. Alice Walton did nothing to become 18th on that list. Sam did everything. He was the purveyor of the company. Now, before women get, she must have done. My mother was the heart and soul of my father's business when I was younger. My father made a very lucrative living in the late 1970s, and my mother kept track of the books and did a fabulous job. So she had her place in it, but it was not her brainchild. She did not go out and woo the clients. She helped with the business, but she was not the progenitor of the business. My father was the guy that made it happen. There's no doubt about that. And I don't think my mom or dad, even from the grave, would mind me saying that, because it's absolutely true. So I don't know the story of Walmart, thank God. But again, being the heir to something your husband built, nice. But to me, again, as far as women on this list are concerned, it's a non-qualifier. She's just literally taking over the shadow of a man who made that much money and would have continued to make that much money had he still been alive. So where is our first woman on the list who is, as they would say in the game, self-made?
It's interesting because you got to go pretty far down the list. So Francois Bettencourt is kind of next, 20th on her ranking there, and she's the heir of the L'Oreal beauty. So let me see where to answer this question, because this is not, of course, something that we pre-plan. We don't script anything on this podcast. And it's for your guys' enjoyment, of course.
No, never.
Most of these people reside in the United States or are from the United States, too, which I find interesting. France and Mexico. India is also another country of origin. You got to get pretty far down there.
I think you're illustrating my point without even coming up.
No, you're right. I mean, you've got to get way down there before.
Yeah. So this is, and that's really my point. This is a dick dragger's game. Okay. I mean, this goes back to the same thing that the world of machismo goes back to. This money and avarice and greed is kind of steeped up in this male energy, this masculine Martian energy that we've got to temper. I mean, I realize that it has its place in our world, but to me, that energy is responsible for predicating a lot of what we see. Because what did we see from the gal who was married to Gates, been married to one of the richest people in the world?
Philanthropy.
Women, I'm telling you, effeminate energy is designed differently than Martian energy. Venusian energy is designed with an understanding that paying it forward, to put it into a modern term that everybody can understand, is going to be more progressive at the end of the day than keeping it all for oneself. And I'm not being prejudiced in any way. It's not a male-female thing. We're talking about the polarity of energy that exists in our experience and how we're harnessing it and what we're letting it do as far as guiding us through this experience is concerned. And these men who are playing this pissing contest, and it's a who's got the biggest dick contest, absolutely bar none, every Sunday of the week. It's the same thing as lining up at the stalls in the gymnasium bathroom and seeing who's got the biggest pecker. It's the same thing. And yet lots of lives and livelihoods are at stake as a result of it. But these guys play this game And that's why Forbes even has it set up like a ticker on their website, like you said, to see, okay, who's today, who's tomorrow. It's sports is the same mentality. Who's number one in the country this week? Oh, they fell to number 2. Oh, they slipped 4 spots. Oh, now they're up 3 because they beat, can you believe they beat the number 1? I mean, that mentality at some point has got to go because it isn't doing us any good. It's a hamster wheel that's not getting us anywhere. It's not sustainable because it's all about being number 1. It's all about having the biggest dick. Well, even the biggest dick can only do so much. You know what I mean? And again, if we're just, talking metaphorically and we're talking in terms of straight, if we're talking heterosexual metaphors here, then any woman you talk to is also going to tell you that she only wants so much dick, by the way. So even if you're swinging a 12-inch Johnson, they don't exist really, but even if you have a club down there, she's probably not going to be too thrilled. Again, goes back to the same thing. It's like there's a temperance that is not only should be accepted, but it should be welcomed in a world that has as many people as we have and with as many resources as we have to go around. So the problem, again, we just spin back to it. I'll finish up by saying the same thing I always do. The problem is it's really easy for all of us to take aim at the king when the king is pissing on us, but we got to lose the if you can't beat him, join him mentality, because that's the wrong way. Because remember, that's the big dream that everybody has. Oh, I used to be poor and, nobody liked me and now I'm rich and I have everything I want. Well, you just became the antithesis of what it was that you were fighting against. I think we talked about this on a recent podcast, if I'm not mistaken. I think I mentioned something about it because I was thinking about it. Don't become the object of what you've been fighting against for so many years or for your whole life just because it's easier. And I know that times are hard because this system is completely off the rails and not sustainable and it's getting out of control. But the real enemy within all of us right now is greed and the lust to become what has put us in this position. And that's what we all have to sacrifice. That's what we all have to lose in order to get somewhere. Doesn't seem like it makes sense, but it's true. It's like, oh, kill the king because I'm not the king. But as soon as I'm the king, well, don't kill me. It's good to be the king.
I'm trying to sort it because you can also look and see by not only their net worth change or the source of their income, but I'm trying to sort it to find out who's the least wealthy on this list.
The least wealthy. The least wealthy of the wealthiest people in the world.
Yeah, it's his name is Gary Wang.
Gary Wang.
And
there you go.
He's ranked.
There you go. I told you. Perfect name. The smallest pecker on the list is Gary Wang.
I want to give Gary Wang credit because not too many people are giving Gary Wang very much credit, but he's ranked 3,064 on the list. And he's 32 years old. He's from the United States. If you could guess any sector where he made his money, where do you think it is?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I mean, clearly it's not tech because you said everybody that's already on the list is tech. So human services. Social and human services. He's the richest social worker on earth, ladies and gentlemen. And he's only 32.
Crypto.
So something that doesn't even exist.
Crypto, and he's only a millionaire amongst billionaires. So our hats are tipped to you, Gary Wang. I love it how Forbes doesn't even give him a bio page. You can't even, when you click on Gary Wang's.
Where is Joey Chestnut on the list?
He doesn't even make the list.
No, at $500,000 a year, that's chump change. That's ridiculous. That's like a parking ticket. Here's the thing. I don't know what comprises a net worth because to me, like I said, it's very simple. Your net worth is invaluable as far as being here is concerned. I mean, your very existence has no worth. It's priceless. I mean, you're a miracle. Every part of you. The physical part, no matter how ugly or tall or fat or short or skinny or stupid or, whatever it might be, I mean, you're a miracle. The fact that you're here is amazing. It's astounding. It's happened so many times now that it's getting less and less impressive to all of us. And so that tends to be what happens when we aren't as endangered. Watch the world get a good boom here, and, we lose 7.5 billion of us, and we're down to only, just so many. Well, then we might look a little bit more interesting to each other because there's just not nearly as many of us. The cosmos.
Speaking of the cosmos, I just started reading the book
Cosmos.
I did, Carl Sagan. So I picked up a lot on eBay, and it was 2 books that I received from this seller. It was Cosmos by Carl Sagan, and it was A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking. And both really cool books, things that obviously weren't even on my radar. And one of the stats that I read not too long in the Hawking book was that 1.3 million Earths could fit inside the sun. That's how much bigger the sun is than planet Earth. And, when you're looking at the Forbes lists, ladies and gentlemen, and you're seeing all that wealth, just remind yourself how much bigger the sun is than the Earth. And 1.3 million Bezos could fit inside that sun.
1.3 million Earths.
Well, yeah, but Bezos is the only Bezos on the Earth, so I'm saying 1.3 million Bezos people, Bezoses. Bezoi? Is that how you would say that? Or 1.3 million Gary Wangs could fit inside the sun. So just remember that.
Yes, it's a very large, and the thing is, it's actually a very little star. As stars go, it's small. It's on the smaller end. But look at all the light and warmth it produces for us right here in the old Goldilocks zone of the Milky Way.
Amazing.
Why'd they name our galaxy after a candy bar? You've heard that before. Surely I've heard that before from people when you get into talking. It's just like, you have to go out to dinner with the in-laws or the girlfriend's parents, and somebody comes along, the brother that's not in town very often, or the brother goes and brings a friend and it's his buddy, and the conversation steers towards astronomy, and the next thing you know, why'd they name our galaxy after a candy bar anyway? It's like, yeah.
Oh, Ricky.
Well, it's not the only thing that's milky around here, is it? You wanted a download. You said before we got here today, you texted me and said, have a download ready. So I've got one. And it's on the longer side as far as what I wrote down. But I'll get through it, and then we can chew on it. I think it fits in pretty well, or well enough at least, with what we've been talking about today, which is all this money and wealth that we just are chasing constantly. And for no good reason, because it's such a mindless exercise in so many ways. One of the things that can separate us the most from being of, I call it reptilian or animal mind, is having the ability to choose, seemingly, and using this ability to choose not to follow our impulses, which are purely derived from physical or external desires or pleasure. Money would be part of that because it can bring us material things. Instead of seeing the donut, for example, and eating it without consideration, simply don't. So just 2 examples then that I wrote down. Instead of seeing the donut and eating it without consideration, don't. Just like instead of meeting someone whom our programming tells us is physically attractive and we should have sex with them as soon as possible, just don't. Just simply put it away and say it isn't necessary to do. Because, I know we get into the argument then about impulse for the sake of survival, because that's, what anybody who's into biology is going to say about that. They're going to say, well, the donut may be one thing, but generally speaking, it's similar to the I want to have sex with this person because they have good genes It's our programming that tells us to do that because we're trying to sustain ourselves, and the donut is food to do that with and gives us energy to have sex with the woman that we meet that's so amazingly attractive that we can't leave alone and just say, forget it. And it may not seem to have too much of an effect, but the problem is that we all know where this can go. You have too many donuts and too much sex, it becomes a real problem.
You start to gain weight.
We are given the ability to choose for a reason. And I'm not so sure that animals are running entirely on impulse. It would seem that they are. And I don't doubt that based on empirical evidence, but I also feel like there's more to the animal mind. There's more to the makeup of the animal spiritually than we're giving credit for. The Native Americans know all about this. You know, they know just exactly how amazing those creatures are in the purest of ways as they tie into things that are vastly more important than just analyzing their physical characteristics or their behavior. So this kind of goes to all of that, and this is lumping everything in together. But just the ability to think about it, just the ability to be able to choose. Seemingly a cat or a dog, if it's in heat, cannot control itself. It has to hump your leg, or it has to hump the nearest cat or dog. You, no matter how strong that impulse is within you as a human being, you still have the ability to choose. And I would argue the ability to choose is vastly stronger than those impulses any day of the week. We simply let the impulses override that ability to select, to choose, to say, no, this isn't okay. I don't struggle often with my willpower because I'm cognizant of this separation, or I'm cognizant of this constant battle that's going on, and I always have been. But I will tell you, I have let my impulses get to me when it comes to sweets in the last year or so. And it's been unlike me to do. I will just impulsively say, oh, look, somebody brought cake to work. Olden days have been like, okay, let's take a full summary. Your weight is good. You're eating healthy. You haven't had a piece of cake in 6 months. Okay, cut a piece of cake and it's fine. Or no, you're overweight and you know it. You're working hard to try and lose weight. It's counterintuitive at this time to have a piece of cake, and yet I will let myself slip. And that's very unlike me to do. So I'm having a little battle with myself about that right now. So I'm not saying that I'm perfect in all of this by any means, because we all let our impulses get to us. And sometimes it feels good, quite honestly, to just bake an entire fucking cake and dive into it. Literally get in the bathtub with it and just make a big mess. Get naked with the cake in the bathtub and just tear the fucking thing apart. Just cram it, down every hole, right?
Yeah.
But the problem with that, the problem with that. I mean, one cake then isn't enough. You want to do it again and again, and then we start to see the impacts. So again, this is just a reminder, tying in with the money thing. You have a choice. And before you make the choice to set sail and say, I'm going to take the next 20 years of my life and try to knock Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk off the block at number 1 on the Forbes list, think about all of the people and all of the things that are going to happen along the way. What's going to happen to all the people that are going to be in your path that's going to be required to do that? Because I can guarantee you each of those people have hurt a lot of people, whether they know it or not, to get there. A lot of people. And now they're in positions of power where they can influence a lot of people a great deal as well. And is that a karma that you want to take on? Is that baggage that you really want to tug in to subsequent lifetimes and incarnations and experiences? This is something to think about.
Yeah. You know what else I think is something to think about?
What's that?
I think the new title of my book is going to be Sex and Donuts.
Sex and donuts. Well, here's the beautiful thing about a donut. If you're a guy anyway, provided you don't take a bite out of it, you can have sex with a donut. That's why they're so perfect together.
Oh, it's so bad. No,
that's why a donut has a hole in it.
I like your concept. Well, I think that also going back to nature, something that is unique about humans. And when we start talking about humans have this ability to recognize consciousness. Because I think in the podcast in the past, we also have acknowledged that we are really pure consciousness that has manifested itself into these bodies. And really an animal is concerned with one thing, and that's survival. But like, the biggest, baddest lion has to consider survival before it decides to, take a big bite out of a rhinoceros or whatever. So, humans don't have to necessarily be as concerned with survival on a day-to-day basis. We just kind of go about our business as we do. We don't, there are times when we almost get hit by a car when we're trying to save a pigeon like Jack did. But, I think that for the most part, we don't have to be as concerned with survival. So we get to kind of sit back in the lounge chair of Darwin and decide that we're going to contemplate these big ideas of having intercourse with a donut. But no, like I really think that there is something to that, in the sense that before you maybe even realize that society has created this construct that you are playing a part in, like a part in a play or in a movie or in a simulation, I think you also have to realize that there's times when the universe is so big that we maybe are putting a little too much weight on some of those ideas. And remember, there's 1.3 million Bezos. I can't remember. Is it Bezai or I think it's Bezai. There's 1.3 million Bezai that could fit inside the sun. And that's how much smaller we are than the universe around us. And for all of the lists of the top whatever, there's always one Gary Wang. And Gary Wang is, 3,000 some on the list, we said? My point is that, like you said when we were going into this Forbes list, we're all precious. And the fact that we even exist is an amazing thing. And I don't think we do give ourselves that much credit when it comes to that. And I don't know that we've fully comprehended how powerful our minds really are, and the joy that we can receive from just our own existence.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly, and I would offer you this thought related to the animal piece, where you say, we're different than animals because animals are just in survival mode constantly. We've put ourselves in the same place. We have made ourselves into animals, because even though we seemingly don't have it as bad as they do, because their literal survival is on the line every day, so is ours, because we have invented this game to play where all of the basic necessities of life, which are flowing, water is flowing free, beautiful. Have you ever been to a glacier before?
Mm-hmm.
Been to Alaska?
Not to Alaska, but
then like you, I have been at the base of a glacial stream before, watching the most pure water you can imagine for 21st century iterations anyway. Flow. And I put some in my canteen and took a drink out of it. Water is abundant. Food is everywhere. You don't have to work too hard to, whether you're talking agronomy or whether you're talking just chucking a spear at one of the animals that's delicious and tasty that's been put here for us from the old Garden of Eden that's scampering around now everywhere. My point is that, yeah, if you're here and it's naked and afraid, it's survival the same way. But together, we've created this incredible world where food is abundant, water is channeled wherever we need it. It's purified if we choose to do it. It's hell, you can get Perrier if you want to. You can get well water. You can get spring water. You can get mineral water. You can get sparkling water. You can get orange flavored water. You can get Mountain Dew. I mean, all of the things that we need to truly survive and thrive, and then shelter, we get into that from the elements, and it's all provided for us. But we've leveraged all of it and given over control of all of it to this list that we just talked about today. The people on that list control all of that stuff for the rest of us. And the higher up on the list you are, the more influence you have. And certainly the corporate conglomerations that are made up of these different individuals that are seated on their boards of directors or whatever influence they have, they really have the biggest namesake power over all of that. And we play that game every day. That's what Wall Street is about. Into this world that doesn't really exist, but I keep getting pampered because of all these illusory zeros that I have after my name in the bank.
Before you know it, you're in a freak off with P. Diddy.
And Joey Chestnut.
And Joey Chestnut.
Who I still think could be the world's best, gay porn star ever if he just, but whatever, Joey.
All right.
He's married, I'm sure, isn't he, to a lady? You're not supposed to. Lady, listen to me. That's going to get cards and letters. He's married to a woman, right? Is Joey Chestnut married?
I don't know. I don't know his bio.
Maybe you should ask Michelle, what's Joey Chestnut's sexual preference?
For another time.
Okay.
We salute you, Gary Wang, and whatever you might be doing today. And all the other beautiful people on the list, and all the other beautiful people who weren't on the list. How's that?
Who there's a lot more of, by the way.
There's a lot more of.
I think Forbes needs to do the poorest people in the world list now.
Wouldn't the bios on that be interesting?
Yeah, sadly, nobody would care.
What are we listening to?
Trying to remember. This is I don't remember where they're from, but I ran across them online not too long ago, and I thought they were pretty good. They are called, I'm looking it up now, Irrational Fraction.
Wow, there's a name for you.
Yeah.
I wonder how many letters they have to use on the marquee for that one.
Well, they just call them IF for short.
Ifers. Well, until we meet again, Jack.
Which will be soon enough.
Take care, and don't forget to tape your waitress.
And Joey Chestnut.
Well, it looks like Jack and Michael have finished up their latest chat about all things existence. But if anything they said got your own existence brewing, be sure and catch their other talks at existencebrewing.com and drop them an email to share your thoughts using contact@existencebrewing.com.
Existence Brewing.